Hello and welcome back to the next of our live streams. Sorry, we're running a couple minutes late this afternoon. If you've been sitting there waiting for us to start, joined again by Mario. Hey, Mario.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, Robin.
Mario is our Chief Technology Officer and the right person to answer questions about feature suggestions. A big thanks to Amy for pulling all this together. We've got here a list of the top feature requests for 2022 of D4H. And we've actually not looked at this. We're doing this completely off the cuff. So maybe there's some surprises in here. Amy's put together this spreadsheet. We kind of did the first half a couple of weeks ago, and you can find that back on YouTube if you want to watch the first half of this. Now we're on to this second half of it. So we'll see what we didn't get to yet. As always, we've got a live chat. We're just going to post in it now. Any questions or feature requests while we are live? And that goes out over Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you want to contact us on the chat, all you need to do is put your message in and we'll display your live comments up here on the stream as we're going. So if you want to catch us live about something you've been asking for a while, chip in there. Okay, great. Mario, should we get started with the first one?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, so we're going to look at equipment management first. So feature requests for equipment management. Bulk equipment uploads. Can I make this any... I don't know if I can. I think we'll leave it as I had it. My bad. Okay, there we go. Bulk equipment uploads. Bulk upload items, multiple items of equipment using an Excel template in the same way you can upload 20 new members at once. I can talk a little bit about this. Is we do have this feature, but it's for us only. It's admin side only. So you are welcome to send us a spreadsheet and we can import it for you. It's got to be in a certain template. But I think, Mario, there was discussion of enabling this as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely useful for people to do this by themselves, without our intervention. And of course, if we want to provide this to the general public, we have to make it user-friendly, and there's going to be some kind of mapping between the columns of the Excel files to actually the properties that we expect. For the equipment, right? So yeah, we have it in the plan, and I can see it will save a lot of time on our side, from to our support team.
Absolutely.
But it will also save a lot of time to the customer, who doesn't have to actually contact us to actually get this, to get a bulk upload or update of equipment. So yeah, it would be interesting also to know how these Excel files are generated. Where they come from. That would be useful.
That's true. Yeah, you forget that. Yeah, are they generating them in another piece of software?
Yeah.
Or are they or are these being manually typed in?
Yeah, correct. Because if it's only a matter of people finding it more handy to write them down in an Excel file and then upload them in bulk, it means that probably there's something that we can do on our side to facilitate that instead of providing the bulk upload. If instead that the file is provided by some other piece of software, it means that there is actually some actual need to do this upload.
We've a first live question in here from someone watching, Steve Rowe. Steve, I think this has come into our support desk from you a couple of times, and we've promised it for you. Which you understand is that you want a tiered level within the database, and we do have that in terms of the member plus concept. But I understand that you want to have an equipment editor who doesn't have that secure level access. So I think more so than we'd have the tiered levels, it's just that it'd be nice if you could split them across per product a bit better. So you can give editor equipment and you can give member read-only personnel training. I think that's the issue at hand.
There is also a discussion to provide more fine-grained permissioning on all the three preparedness products, like so. The two preparedness products, like personnel and training and equipment management.
Yeah.
And also incident reporting, I'd say.
Yeah, so if we were to split those out a little bit better, so there was that ability that, so I'm trying to get us all on screen here at the same time. Here we go, that's a bit better. If we were to split that out per product, so there's a personnel training set of permissions, an equipment management set of permissions, and an incident reporting set of permissions within there, I think that would answer a lot of these needs that people are talking about. Okay, back to the bulk upload. There's some commentary coming in. Biggest issue is sequential numbering. So I assume that you want to preset the ref is the big piece there, Duncan, you're describing. So you want to in a spreadsheet very easily. I assume that's what that is you want to list out all the refs, and then when you duplicate them, effectively you're duplicating items, but you want to control what the refs are.
Yeah, that might be it.
And allocations. Yeah, so very easy to allocate stuff out. So it's possibly as much the need here is bulk updating. So either editing in a grid, so you can look at a table of items and select rows and say bulk set these to be this. So assign these 5 items to this person, or that you can edit in the cell of the table possibly as well, which we're definitely in need of that. We're definitely in need of a improved user interface within tables. Okay. There's loads of questions coming in. So what we'll do another one from the spreadsheet, and then we'll when we get onto that section of the software, we'll do it. Incident management. Okay. I'll leave this with you, Mario.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of interesting ones here. Real-time asset tracking. This is related actually to some other tracking features that we've been asked to implement, which is actually personnel tracking. I guess this is almost the same thing, right? At least in terms of technical details. In this case, it would be interesting to understand, well, for personnel, we already know there are a lot of devices that we can use to track people on the ground. It could be just a simple phone, for example, or there are just specific devices for that. It also, in this case, it would be interesting to know what devices are used to track assets on the ground. Like, I imagine assets we are talking about mainly probably vehicles, right? It's going to be mostly vehicles, I'm guessing, and expensive equipment, as for example, I don't know, generators, power generators.
I guess we do the integration with some IoT platform that's giving us an easy API to get data from, as in could be Garmin InReach devices, or it could be a Tetra radio system in a vehicle, or it could be anything. It's a fleet management tool that we're integrating with their API rather than with the devices.
Yep, that could be also definitely one way of implementing it.
I think it's safe to say we're interested in this, and it's likely coming.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there are already a lot of solutions out there for asset tracking. It's just a matter to understand, if it's better to integrate rather than implement it ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, because I think our app, it would be nice if our mobile app could share your location.
That's already probably something that we are already planning to do, right? At some point.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will find it beneficial. So.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, this is very interesting. And what I'd like to know is how people are going to use this data, because based on that, we are going to define the feature based on how people we actually use that data. So it's very important to know that. It is important also that so this data is used for critical decisions. It's not just for curiosity, if you know what I mean. As for example, calories burned, I can see it being more a curiosity rather than something that can influence decisions now or in the future, right? So it's important.
I mean, you might on a long, there's some companies who specialize in this, and they do wearables for, let's say, first responders in harsh conditions. So, or military, so you're wearing a wearable. I think the ones I've seen are chest mounted on a strap, and you've got a big matrix of all of your team, a bit like sports players are tracked in the same manner, and they go into whatever site they're going to, whatever scene, and command can say, your heart rate's too high, you should need a rest, you haven't slept in a while, so you're trying to rotate people over. Now that's definitely getting to the high end of things. There's not many people doing that, a couple of fire departments maybe, but very interesting. Very interesting to hear. Interested to hear what other people would do with the data, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. And like the nature of IAM, I can imagine that this is going to be mainly tracking real time data coming from the scene. I'm guessing. Yeah, with an opportunity to integrate with IR, to upload all the data IR for later analysis.
But there's a question back here on the real-time tracking. Saying big thumbs up for it. Very useful for those type of teams. That's good to hear. Personnel training. Okay, well, at this point, I'll drop in one. There's a couple of comments coming in. So, Thorstein. At ISAR. So, for anyone not, I'm never going to pronounce Aaron Cell. I think I've got that wrong already. Great team. I've been over to the guys there. We went up on a glacier for a couple of days a few years ago. With your team, it was great. So that's Icelandic Search and Rescue. So they have a question here, and they're looking to know within personnel training, is it possible to automatically update who's invited to events and exercises? Yes. So I can talk on that one. What we do at the moment is you've got the option full team or selective team. If you set it as a full team activity, anyone added to the account in the future gets automatically added to the attendance. So a full team exercise or something like that, or a full team meeting or event, you can set up that full team, and anyone you add to the team later in the year before the activity will automatically be requested to attend it. And I understand completely what you want to do is, instead of saying full team, you want to say members of these groups attend this. So this is a driving training course, and all drivers group, everyone in the drivers group is requested. And if I add a new driver, even out of my current members during the year, it should automatically invite them to that they can attend it. So I completely understand the need there. And I think it's a good suggestion, and it's certainly on our to-do list at some point. Alrighty.
Track cell
yeah,
phone
this is an interesting one.
Now, I guess my first question is, what they mean with the cell phone logins. Is it the mobile app?
Yeah, I think this is what this is that when you sign in and out with the D4H smartphone apps on personnel training and equipment management, we're just connecting to the API through the app. That's how we download the data into the app, and so it's not registered as a login.
Okay.
So it doesn't actually show that the member was online. The piece here is it doesn't show that the member signed in. Whereas if you sign in on the web app each time, you register a login in the audit trail. I think there's a statistics page to say this how many times people are signing in. So if they only use the app, they don't look very active on that page.
Yeah, completely agree. This looks like more like if some kind of feature missing, really like a part of a feature missing.
Yep.
So it's definitely So it's definitely something that we have to look into.
The API needs to register some sort of usage, or the app needs to be able to say, I need to log something here, track something. Okay, great. Oh my God, we're not even a third of the way through these yet. There's loads today. Canine tracking. Okay, so I'll talk about the problem a little bit. Canines are obviously the dog units that we have. We have a lot of police departments and search and rescue teams who use the canine element of it. And we don't particularly have much profile about the canine. So we have a very basic profile. I don't think you can add custom fields to it, which would obviously solve some of this. And when you say detail the canine used, you should be able to select the canine against a handler already when you say used, if that's on the attendance, but there isn't the ability to put any notes in or anything else on that. We do also get quite a lot of questions around creating logbooks for canines, that people would like a lightweight logging system, just because canine training doesn't only occur at a large training exercise like it might for a person. It can be every day there's a little bit of training. So they go out at home, they go out themselves, they go out and do things. So it's the ability to create a very lightweight logbook for canine training. We've heard of that one too. Restricted on-call status. I've never heard of this one. This is new to me. Let me think about it. What does it mean if you're restricted would be my question. To me, you're either on or you're off.
I'm wondering if this just complicates things, in terms of user experience.
Do comment in the comments if you're watching this and this is your piece. What is this? Or if it's useful for anyone else. I mean, I can see it's nice. Like, as I'm a responder, I want to say, yeah, I'm restricted, so now I'm going to come, or I might come, or I might not come. And I'm then surely then I'm off call, and if I come, that's a bonus. So
I'm wondering if it creates like dangerous misunderstandings, Like, if I understand it correctly, I mean, it could mean something completely different.
I'll give you an example. It could be that you're on call all the time, and today you're looking after the kids. So you're restricted because you have to find somewhere for the kids to go before you leave home. So you have to ring a relative or someone come around or whatever it is, because you're on a scene where you're like, there's a rarity of incidents. So even if you're paid on call, you may you might have a restricted status at some point. I kind of I get it. I can see it's useful, but I wonder how we count that as numbers. I wonder what we do. I wonder what we expect, because restricted could mean half of the time you're available, half the time you're completely not available while amber. So
could also mean that it would take longer to respond, probably.
No, absolutely.
To get on the scene. Definitely. So it could mean different things. That's probably the main problem.
Tentative availability means I'll come if no one else can fill the requirement. Yeah, so I'm second line. Look, we're interested to hear more about the problem for people. To see a thing, I get it. I would like to set myself as restricted quite a lot, because then I'm kind of exactly that. I'm like, look, I'm busy and I'll come if I have to, but often not how it works. So interested to be. Someone else here puts in their piece saying, Paul says, this is for me, this would mean restricted to only the EOC. So Paul, do you mean by that you're on sort of like duties or something like that, so you're not able to fully function, but you can contribute, maybe, such as an injury or something like that you're restricted. Do keep keep talking about it in the comments. We'll revisit it before the end if there's more.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this?
ID cards. Yeah, this could be quite important for personnel and training, right? It depends what these ID cards would be for as well, because again, functionalities can vary depending on the purpose of the ID cards. So yeah, we definitely would need to know more about this.
I tell you, we've looked at a bits and pieces before. So a couple of thoughts on it. Well, firstly, one of the reasons we don't allow a member to update their own profile photo is because we had the intention that they would be possibly printed onto ID cards, and we don't want Donald Duck appearing on an ID card because somebody uploads a meme or something as their profile photo. Now, that's probably better handled with an approval process of a photo rather than not letting them, but that's another conversation. And we have looked at how can we print directly to an ID card printer. Now, there's a couple of ways we can go about it. One is we could integrate with a service that prints them and mails them to you. So you would press order ID card on someone's profile or select a number of profiles and say order ID cards. They come in quite expensive. We would effectively design a PDF that we send over, and they get printed onto this by another company, and they get mailed to you. And we could do that. And the other option is that sort of output, either HTML or PDF output we generate, gets downloaded to your computer, and you've got an ID card printer you've purchased, and you print it onto the face of the card. We can also pass through things like the ref or barcode of the member, like the tag ID tag, so it's coded with NFC, or we could put a barcode or QR code on the printout as well. So there's a few things we could do. The problem is it's very complex. One is interfacing with hardware is complex, and we'll have lots of issues around dimensions and sizes and stretching, but it's possible. And two is that ID card, I guarantee you everyone will want to personalize. So people
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
my logo here, and I want this color on it, because they're personal feeling things. Now, if it was just a D4H template, maybe we can put the team logo on it as well. We can easily do D4H cards, but I know teams want to have their own ID card. Is like, it's your badge. It's your saying I'm part of this team. It's my membership. And so I bet people want to customize them a lot. So it's not something we've gone too into. There's a good few comments coming in here on this, which is great. That's what this stream is about. Cloud badging. Yep.
Yeah, that's something related to ID cards, but not definitely the same thing. Because it's something that we can include in ID cards. We can include a code, a barcode, or we can include an RFID chip as well. So people would be badging using their ID card, and in the ID card that would be probably just the name, that's just the basic information. So as you said, in this case there wouldn't be any necessity to customize the ID card, because the purpose of the ID card would be just to authenticate the user using an electronic mean, essentially. So in this case I can see it being very useful. But just like as you said, we have to try and stay within the limits, essentially, of what's possible, what's simple to implement in this case, to obtain the maximum usefulness for the customer anyway.
There's a comment in here from Alberta, Canada. Paul is saying they are required to have an ID card. They have all the information in D4H, so this would be a great move to add it.
Again, it would be interesting to know if a standard ID card would be enough.
Versus what's non-standard?
I don't know, if they want to add some extra information as qualifications, for example. Or like
to me that all exists in the cloud, where you scan the QR code on it and you get that. And I think, to me, this is just pretty plain: name, team or organization name, photo, and we can add a QR code or NFC tag or whatever that scans the profile. But it's only going to, I don't know that that's public info when you scan it. That's another idea we've had. Here's a solution someone's suggesting. Duncan says, give 4 or 5 template options, JPEG up. Yeah. It's a good solution. I think it would be a great thing to do. We get asked about it a lot, and it's a really nice one.
Yeah, and we were thinking of implementing something similar, badging at least, for IAM as well, right? So people coming to the scene, just scanning their badge and getting logged in essentially, or registered into the incident automatically. So I can see that there could be some also integration with the
there's a lot of people want a solution, and I think it came up in the last live stream where you can just turn up at any activity and check in and check out. And people have different versions of it, whether they there's a tablet that's in the room with an app on it that they press check in against their name on. And this goes into the attendance records, obviously, that they turned up at this time. Or it's their card gets scanned by the instructor's app to say, like, their QR code, scan the person in by a centralized person. Or they just use the app on their phone to say, I'm here, that they scan something, like a QR code that's left. It's like a secret code or something. Or maybe it's just simpler than that. But I think it's definitely... and
I can see here on our document that it's a highly requested feature on Facebook. So apparently a lot of people have asked for it.
Yeah, I do think people would like that, and it's a slick feature, isn't it? It's nice.
Yeah, we'll be able to just go click and print ID card or order ID card. It's definitely something we will consider.
This is David here is kind of talking about the electronic ID cards in the personnel app as a separate page. Is that just something, David, you'd hold your phone up to show the badge? Is that what you're thinking there? Is it like my I'm trying to wonder. So instead of having a physical card,
you would have your phone. That's an interesting idea, actually.
Yeah. So, it's kind of like, I don't know if you can see my phone there. I'd hold up my ID card, sort of. Focusing. This way, maybe, to show I'm who I say I am. Is that what you mean? So he says yes. This is include their QR codes.
Yeah.
So you can do that. You get an initial. The kind of personal training app does a little bit of that today. You can turn on barcode scanning in it. I can't easily share it to you here, but if you go to the settings on the personal training app, if you will get a scan QR code button on the bottom corner. You can press that. It'll open up the barcode scanner. It can be QR code, barcode, NFC tag, or external Bluetooth scanner. And when you scan a member's tag, which you can associate to their profile, you'll get their screen.
Yeah, I can see actually an electronic ID card probably. I wouldn't say would be better, but for many people probably would be enough.
Simple.
Yeah, it's simple, and could be also more secure because people to authenticate an ID card, they would use their own phone, for example, scan a QR code or scan their NFC tag, or use the RFID of their phone, and that would actually authenticate the person. So it's even more secure in a sense. But
definitely.
Yeah.
Paul, that'd be great if you can send on that. And you have my email. Should just send it over and we'll take a look at what you're doing. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm guessing you're using the qualification section here as multiple competencies, and you've got competencies as your qualifications. And that's because we don't have a good competency management system. You have to use the qualifications to do it. So I think this is probably solved by us building a good competency management system. Competencies being different to certificates, I think. Certificates being courses as such are longer. A competency is a currency on something. So I must do this skill 6 times a year. I must demonstrate I've done it. That's a competency. And so that you'd have a syllabus that, depending on the groups people were members of, they would have an assigned syllabus. So if I'm in I used the example earlier, drivers group, I must show that I can inspect the engine, right, or change a tire twice a year. And it would let me log that very lightly in a logbook, competency logbook, which has an approval process. Okay, you can set the required on-call numbers already, but we don't alert you. We just show it on the dashboard. And so that's probably something that will come with maybe push notifications in the personnel training app, I would think. You can set on-call requirements for each qualification, for each group, and for the overall team already. So you can set those levels, but we only show it when you log in. We don't send you an advance warning. And that's not true. We send you an email at the start of the week saying these are the days that you're going to break your rules, but we don't do it. If people all do it after that point, if they all go off call one day, we don't send an alert.
That's probably important to have, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Pretty easy to build. All the data's there. It's just a push notification based on something that people can subscribe to.
We don't have push notifications yet in the personnel app, but when that comes, it's definitely one of the first notifications that we can enable. Definitely.
Yeah, qualification expiries too. I'd love to see that. You get an alert to say, in 30 days, your such and such is expiring. We're both laughing. We did remove the multiple activities button. It's been pointed out lots of times. We have hundreds and hundreds of customers who want it back. We came across a bug in it, and we decided that we would build a duplicate button instead of add multiple. So that is our plan on that. It's in the next couple of months, certainly. Yeah. But it is very high priority.
Yeah, it's a very top of our list, actually. So after we have, as already mentioned, our last live, so we're working on a pretty big update of the 3 products, personnel and training, equipment management, and incident reporting. And when the update is ready and in production, this is the very first thing that we are going to work on. Because we've received so many requests for it that it's really on top of our list. So please, people, just have a little bit more patience. It will come, I can guarantee you. At this point, it's just a matter of waiting, another couple of months probably.
Yeah, great. Promise. Oh, this is kind of what I talked about earlier with the canines. So logbooks, yes, and yes. Really want to do logbooks. I've been wanting to do it for years. I love the idea that you can go into a logbook section. You can create a new logbook. That logbook would have different columns, effectively. So like a date, linked exercise, linked event, or comment, signature, something like that, or signed, approved by, whatever it be. And you create a row, or you might have like weather, what skill done, whatever it is, drop downs. You enter a new logbook row in the personal training app, and you press submit for approval, and then somebody with approval permission can go in and sign off all the logbook entries. So I love that idea, and I love that we could create different logbooks. You could have a driver's logbook, a vehicle logbook, a boat logbook, or whatever the skills that you want to log are, canine logbook, that each have different fields, effectively columns in the logbook, and we can give an aggregate then based on a date range. So show me all logbook entries, total duration from January 1st till now, or something like that.
Are those connected to an incident, or
yeah, I think we'd have to have like
exercise?
we'd have to have like a related field or something. So because I think it'd be nice to be able to. The kind of idea would be, I think, that if you selected an incident as a starting point of the logbook entry, it would automatically fill the date range, times, and some other bits. But that's complicating it. So that's the really high end of it. We could go simpler and not actually connect it. Because we could also create, like, if you were on an activity, we could automatically create a logbook entry. But I don't even know that we need to do that. I think we can. There's a big piece of my philosophy on how we design the product, which is actually getting, and some people disagree with this, but actually getting the membership to do some work behind it. Because if members have to go in and maintain their own logbook, they have to think about it. If they have to go in and submit this themselves, it's not just done for them. They're engaging in the process of that. They have a syllabus of things and hours, and you're taking care in it. So yes, to make it easy, but also not just automatically do it for them. I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. However, a logbook entry is not necessarily connected to an incident, right?
No, it could be anything. It could be the team health logbook, and everyone logs every time they went for a run in their own time. Like, it can be anything. And I think a logbook can be shared between people, or it can be personal to a person. You can issue a logbook, something like that. So that's the kind of piece. Okay. Auto qualify based on prerequisites. Prerequisites qualification that auto qualify, e.g.
This is so similar to something that we've seen at the last live stream that we had, right? It's similar, but not the same, probably.
Yeah, it's that concept of that you need either or. So it's like you're qualified in this if you have these other certifications. So
equivalent qualifications. I think at the time we were talking about equivalent qualifications.
So you can have first aid course A or first aid course B, makes you a first aider.
Yeah, correct. I'm wondering if how similar those are with this one. It could be the same thing at the end of the day.
I think it's the same. It's the same feature. Well, auto qualify. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Auto qualify. Yeah.
Yeah. Because here you're probably talking about getting a natural qualification. It's not an equivalent qualification, but it's like getting another qualification. Don't know. They look similar, so we will have to understand how much they have in common, actually. So probably need more info on this one.
Yeah. Jim here. Jim's in Massachusetts saying, thinking of creating separate qualifications for each training target. Yeah, that's kind of the competencies piece I was describing. I think that one for sure. Okay. So next one. Yes. Well, so there's a couple of pieces in here. One is communications module in the mobile app. Yes, I believe that you should have some sort of inbox on the mobile app, and you can receive a message and you get a push notification on the mobile app.
Yeah.
I don't include that with call out the team, though. I think call out should not be intermingled with your day-to-day communications, because it gets lost in there. And so I see critical alerts as something totally separate. That's a paging system, and maybe something we do. But our communication module is designed around just day-to-day management of a team, reminders, stuff like that. We're getting there. We've 10 to go. Okay. Incident reporting. Ability to bulk update just the finish time for everyone. Oh, interesting. Okay, I never thought of that. Yeah.
For every attendant, I'm guessing, yeah.
So yeah, we do bulk update at the moment. So if you go on to attendance at an incident, you can select multiple people or select all, and you can go bulk action. You can say the set role, bulk set, status like attending, absent, and one of them is set period. And set period lets you set a start date and an end, start date and time, and an end date and time for the selected. But what it's saying here is that everyone has arrived at different times, but all finished at the same time. So if you use the bulk update, it's going to move everyone's start time as well. So yeah, it's splitting it's bulk update, start date, time, bulk update, end date, time. Split them out. Oh, you can go on this one, Mario.
Yeah, we have an entire project dedicated to this. Actually, it's a big overhaul of the reports, the charting and reporting piece of incident reporting. So I probably mentioned this already in the last stream. So we're looking to make it more customizable and even more faster in general. At the moment, the current system is very limited, both in terms of customizability and in terms of data that it can crunch. So this is actually a big and complex project, as you can imagine, because we're going to change essentially the whole subsystem that takes care of generating charts and reports. So it's going to be a quite big project that we are actually, we'll probably start in the second half of this year. I'll start probably before the second half, but it will carry over probably until the end of this year or start of next year. But the result is going to be more charts, more reports, and be able to crunch more data, essentially.
Great. Okay, shared services. Shared services, for people who aren't familiar, are all the things that sit across all of the products. So, for example, uploading attachments, documents, communicate, the collaboration, real-time collaboration, that kind of stuff. Different colors for different teams, the same organization. So I'm assuming this is in the organization account, as the only place I can think of different teams. So I'd be interested in what these teams are, what the colors are based on, really. Why are you changing the color? Is it a different type of team? And if it's type of team, we should link this back to the capabilities. So a team can have capabilities that show in the organization, and maybe it's one of those things. They get a color.
Yeah.
Hard one to answer that.
Or like tagging.
Oh, I missed one. Okay. Well, we don't allow you to upload an attachment to an email when or format it. It's a plain text email with no attachments. What are the complications of that, Mario? I mean, one of the issues is we've got to handle big files potentially, and we've got to email out one upload, and it has to go out to 300 people. We have to send a 10 megabyte file out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. That could be the problem. We had this problem actually in IM as well already, where especially when generating, printing the audit log. In the audit log, there could be a lot of images, for example, and those images will add up to the size of the document. I think Gmail will limit the size of the attachment to 25 megabytes, and other providers could limit that size to even less than that. So yeah, attaching could be an issue, but most of the time it's probably not an issue. It's something that we can definitely do. As a workaround, if a document is too big, we can attach a link to it instead of attaching the document itself, which is probably the most most feasible and simplest solution.
Yeah. I wonder as well, what about I can see Thierry commenting here saying, what about the idea of just inserting a link to an upload, like you would upload the document to our system. We never actually send the attachment. You just have to sign into our system to download a copy.
Yeah. Well, it depends if you want to keep control of the document, or the purpose of attaching it to that email is to actually sharing it outside of the organization.
Yeah, but I get so in our communications module, which I think that's describing, we only allow emailing internally anyway.
All right.
So it's only messaging to membership. So in the same way they could actually sign in, have to authenticate to access that document.
Yeah. Like an advantage of having documents attached, actual documents, would be that people would be able to download them locally, for example, on their phone, and having them available offline.
They could download them from the link.
Or download, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be the same. Yeah, exactly.
Same thing. Just we don't have to send it out to everyone. Good solution, Thierry. Linked messaging SMS to incidents callouts. I wonder what the linked. Okay, so I think that this is when you create an incident in incident reporting, it would also show all communications related to it. Again, it goes back to our communications module. It wasn't designed for call out messaging. It was for the kind of readiness and day-to-day management of a team. But I think it's fair to say if we did do a paging system or any sort of call out functionality, it's a great idea to link them. You should be able to attach them. I mean, that's what happens in incident management with if you've Everbridge or Rave or Informacast or any other ones we integrate with. They're all associated with that incident, so it makes complete sense.
So is this about essentially the same thing, but for IR?
Yeah, I think it's if an incident wasn't using incident, like if I think there's teams who are using our communications module in the team management side. Instead of for day-to-day operations, they're using it to send SMS and emails during call-outs and voice calls to send messages out to the team. And what they'd like to do is associate that with an incident report or what other activity. So you can see a list of them all. Okay, we have a couple of minutes left here. Questions have slowed, thankfully. Yeah, comments. Well, there's a lot of them. This is a huge interaction, which has been great. And we're getting down to the last kind of 2-3 feature requests here. NFIRS compatibility, or NFIRS, depending where you live. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think you can achieve it with custom fields, but it's been something that we've avoided because it's a highly saturated market. And so for anyone not familiar, this is the US National Fire Reporting Standard. It's a certain set of fields with certain set of options that have to be selected from when we're reporting a fire. And because we have specialized mainly in special operations within fire departments, we haven't added that. And it's also very saturated. There's a lot of companies out there who do this. But again, I totally see the need. I just don't know that it's our direction. So it's probably a bit of a strategy question more than can we do it or not. Yeah, I don't know the answer. I don't know. Maybe one day it's something, but I think you can achieve it from the custom fields if you want to do it. But we don't have it built in. There's a question in here, Jim again, Massachusetts. Looking to have the inbox flag or email when something new is in the inbox. Yes, Jim. We definitely have to do this for you. I don't know how many times I've said we'll do it for you. So if you move a piece of equipment from team A to team B within the same organization, it goes into an outbox in team A and arrives in an inbox in team B, and it's in this holding pattern while it's shipped somewhere. And what Jim's asking for is that they get an alert of some type when something arrives in their inbox. And absolutely, Jim, high on the to-do list. It's written down with your name, especially against it. We're completely aware of that. Repeating tasks. So these are within, again, personnel training, really, and incident reporting is the ability to add tasks, their repairs in equipment management. Repeating tasks sounds like an inspection to me or something else, but I can see this, must have a safety meeting, maybe. Let's say something like that. Must have a safety meeting, schedule a safety meeting, or hold a safety meeting every 6 months or 3 months. That repeats, so I can see the benefit of that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on our to-do list, but it is now. I mean, it is. It's in this document. It's got recorded somewhere, but I don't think it's on our roadmap, should we say, at the moment.
Yeah, we have it actually in our. We have recorded a ticket for it, but we have not scheduled it yet.
And I think we are down. I can see it's the last thing. There we go. Excellent. Well, I hope to everyone watching that was useful. We have managed to finish just on time.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who engaged. It's really great to get the comments in. We are delighted to highlight them here. So thanks again. Mario, anything else we need to add? This will be all on YouTube for people who want to watch it back.
Yeah, as already mentioned, please people be a little bit patient in the coming 2-3 weeks as we complete the upgrade of our systems, and after that we are going to work on the highly requested features, actually starting from the duplication of an exercise incident.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Mario. Thanks for your time coming on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
A huge amount of people engaging with this. It's been a really good live stream, and thanks to everyone for tuning in. As I said, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You'll get alerts about all these live streams, and we're very happy to do this and discuss through the feature requests. All right, thanks everyone. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye everyone.